9 hours and 23 minutes. You'll be mine.
So I've been showing the predictive programming for the number 923. As you can see, that was one of the clips that I wanted to talk about amongst a few others. Now, the reason 923 is a special day is because it's the 5-year anniversary of what is known as the Revelation chapter 12 sign, which is the woman in the sky, clothed with the sun and the crown on her head with 12 stars. That happened in 2017. Now, the clip you just saw was obviously a 923 predictive programming, but the reason that it struck me as very interesting is because he was holding a baby boy, and he says, as soon as 923 hits, you're mine. So take a look at this scripture here. We're going to start off in the beginning here in Revelation chapter 12 so you can get the full context. Now, the first two verses are talking about the Revelation 12 sign, which happened in 2017, and this is the 5-year anniversary on September 23 or 9/23. Here we go. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered. Now we get to the very next verse or two. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great dragon. This is Satan, symbolizing Satan, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. Now we know that Romans chapter 5 says that we are delivered from the wrath to come. Doesn't that sound like that? Ready to be delivered? Jesus has delivered us. Now watch the next verse. And she brought forth a man-child. Now remember the predictive programming commercial we saw a minute ago. The guy holding the baby, or the man-child, who was to rule all nations with the rod of iron, and her child was caught up, that means harpazo, raptured, caught up unto God and to his throne. So that 923 predictive programming, when the guy says, you're mine at 923, September 23rd, was that a picture or symbolic of the dragon waiting to devour the child and us being caught up at a certain time before they're able to devour us? Or are we the man-child? Alright, I want to take a look at another clip of predictive programming here referring to the rapture of the church.
Okay. Diddly diddly. That's a higher power than even I believe in. What is going on?
So right here again, the clock refixes itself and it says minutes to rapture, and you have a 923, the 9 all the way on the left, and then the 23 on the far right, possibly symbolizing September 23rd. There's so much predictive programming in The Simpsons. I think a lot of people know about that. Another piece of predictive programming that I wanted to talk about, or to just simply point it out, is a Green Day song. Green Day is a punk band, and they've been around for a long time. But if you notice in the lyrics, or the chorus, he talks about waking him up when September ends.
Summer has come and passed. The innocent can never last. Wake me up when September ends.
So what is it with September? Why is there all this 923 September programming? Well, September, you have to understand the Hebrew calendar a little bit to get the picture. And everything revolves around that. In other words, in September, that is when the new Hebrew year starts, which is called Rosh Hashanah in Hebrew. It is also when the Feast of Trumpets happens, which is one of God's 7 holy days. And it is also said to be the month of the birth of Jesus Christ. Not December, but September as we know it. And that would be on 9/11. Interesting number there, right? 9/11. Does anybody recognize that number? Well, that's apparently the real day that Jesus was born. You see, the occult used these days as if it were, to profane them. In other words, they do the opposite of good on these days. And they know the calendar. These things are all happening on precise dates. They're all the predictive programming is happening, showing you patterns. But people don't get it because none of us were taught this. We were all taught by the satanic occult system to keep us blind, deaf, and dumb. So that's why September is a big month.
These are all the individuals from last year doing their thing, running 100 meters and all that sort of stuff. And the American man here was incredibly fast. Incredibly.
Oh, really? Please.
Boom.
What exactly are we waiting for? The vials of wrath, Mr. Meldrew. The final conflict against the mother of harlots and abominations. Right. In an hour and a half from now, a multitude of frogs shall spring forth from the mouths of false prophets. Yes, I expect so. And then, the miracle of deliverance. By 9:23, the water of life shall proceed forth from the throne of the Lamb, and the day of the Lord shall be a...
She called us. It was Thursday morning, 9:23. I thought, okay, this is it. Here we go.
This is Drake's album that came out in 2013. And it is called Nothing Was the Same, September 24th. See that? So probably nothing will be the same after the 23rd, right? Because this is the day after. So it's more predictive programming from the music industry, from the entertainment industry, from all of the facets of the information that we get. I wanted to show you guys because I've posted some videos about the 23rd and the predictive programming in that. And also that happens to be the 5-year anniversary of the Revelation chapter 12, Great Wonder in Heaven sign that happened in 2017. We are 5 years away from that. And on the 23rd of this month, September, that will be the 5-year anniversary. So what happens? Is it a rapture? Is it a fake alien invasion? Is it both? Is it World War III? Is it the revealing of the Antichrist? Well, I'm not exactly sure, but I do believe that it's very possible that something will happen that, as this album says, nothing was the same after it. So, in the event that it's not a rapture, I would stock up on anything and everything that I could. And that's it. Anyways, thank you guys. Hit a Wisdom 2020. God bless.